What a night in the Twin Cities and for the surprising Timberwolves. The sold-out Target Center in downtown Minneapolis, racing for the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers, who were commanding in Game 4 Sunday out west. Now the series shifts back to Minnesota as the playoffs continue on TNT. With Hall of Fame coach John Thompson, All-Star Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager, this is Kevin Harlan. A lot of things going on, and Danny, let's talk about Shaquille O'Neal. Everybody's talking about what he did in Game 4.
Well, Kevin, there's 16 teams watching this game tonight. Everybody rooting against the Lakers because nobody wants to deal with Shaq. He was complaining all week. Not enough shots for him in the paint, not enough touches. What'd he do, Coach? He went off of the boards and got a lot. 10 offensive rebounds.
The only problem with that, the T-Wolves don't have to worry about whether they have to deal with him. They are dealing with him. They've got to attack him.
Devin George starting for Rick Fox out for the season. Robert Horry, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Derek Fisher. Wally Serbiak, Garnett, Rasho Nesterovic, Anthony Peeler, and Troy Hudson for Minnesota.
We keep talking about these jump balls. Neither guy jumps. It's like a scrum. They might as well throw the ball on the ground. Shaq and Garnett, they're just trying to see who can get the ball the quickest. Throw the ball up in the air.
Our officials tonight, Mark Wunderlich, Tim Donaghy, and Ed F. Rush. And this is Troy Hudson of Minnesota.
Fisher jumps right on him, Kevin.
Garnett picked up by Robert Horry. Garnett.
That's how Garnett has started out every game in this series. He's just torching whoever they put on him. Wouldn't Tim Duncan or Shaquille O'Neal or Kobe Bryant or Tracy McGrady love to have that same kind of room to maneuver?
It's Fisher for the lead in the three-point shot.
Well, see, and that's the thing that has to happen. If you're going to support, it's very important for you to return quickly. Guy had too much time shooting.
Here's Garnett averaging over 30 points a game in this series. Over 16 rebounds, dancing on Horry. Rebound by Shaq, who had a tremendous 24-rebound performance on Sunday in L.A.
Well, they want to go to Kevin and establish the low post, but I believe Wally, without Fox out there, he's thrilled to death.
Nice pass to Kobe Bryant, who sails in.
And those easy baskets, you just can't afford to get Kobe going. He's been struggling with his outside shot. But again, I expect to see Wally try to get going offensively without Fox, his shadow, and the experience of Fox defending him.
Garnett was upset that time. He wanted a cutter because everybody's peeping to look to help. And he might be able to get a guy cutting to the basket easy.
Garnett again.
I like that, though. He went towards Shaq. He didn't fade and make Shaq play defense early in the game. Hopefully get him in foul trouble.
They kind of dribbled toward him, but then he kind of faded on the shot. He didn't like try to go into Shaq.
There's Fisher with another three, and this is very much like Game 1 when Fisher went off early in the game.
And you know, sometimes big shots, we always talk about big shots at the end of games. Sometimes, especially in this series, the big shots can come in the first few possessions to get the defense to change their strategy.
20-minute, 20-second timeout by the Timberwolves.
And Kevin can get any shot he wants over Robert. I mean, he can just come in, he just jumps in, no help. Look at all that room. He's got the entire paint. And we talk about Derek Fisher. You know, these shots in Game 1 were the huge part of the game. Him and Fox getting going. And right there, that's just enormous because Troy Hudson's going to be a little bit more hesitant to leave him.
Well, and that was terrible defense, too, Danny, on Troy's part. I mean, you don't just stand there and react to the offensive man. You make him react to you. You stand there on a guy like Fisher and letting him shoot and then waving at him.
Well, typically, the Fisher doesn't shoot until the ball at least goes in and then comes back out. That kind of caught him off guard.
Fisher in this series has not taken a lot of free throws. He is averaging 3 more points a game than he did in the regular season, up to 13 points a game now. But has been huge. In fact, a 23-point game for Fisher in Game 3, that overtime game in Los Angeles. Rasho Nesterovic.
And there's no excuse for that. I mean, Rasho went right by Robert Horry. Robert Horry's a lot quicker than Rasho and needs to play him. Make him shoot the ball from the outside.
That's Kobe Bryant trying to whittle his way inside.
But again, another offensive rebound.
And Shaq.
With the whole team guarding him.
Horry for 3. As Bryant chases down the loose ball, another offensive rebound. And George is there, and he has been rebounding terrifically in this series.
Yeah, but that's giveaways, Kevin. That is terrible defense. You can't let the Lakers get that many opportunities to score and get those offensive rebounds.
Wally Serbiak, who is shooting 60% from two-point territory in this series, brings Minnesota to within 4.
Yeah, Wally's had a tough time getting those kind of looks with Fox on him. And right there we see Devin George. The pluses and the minuses of Devin George in those last 2 possessions. The offensive rebound. He's a much better rebounder, more athletic than is Rick Fox. Gets the easy basket at one end, but then doesn't have the experience and backs off of Wally Serbiak. Gives him a wide open 15-foot shot.
Here is Shaq, who has not shot so far. Working on the Starovich. Lakers have started the game 4 of 8. Minnesota has started 3 of 5. Hudson around in the Starovich screen. If there is one player that has been more of a Cinderella story than any other in this particular series, it is the little-known Troy Hudson.
Well, and he's remaining aggressive offensively, although I do notice that the T-Wolves are not pushing the ball as quickly down the court as they were in the earlier games.
It's Shaquille O'Neal grinding inside for 2.
Too much space and too much time. The help has got to come, or the only thing that he can do is protect himself from Shaquille.
Here's Garnett double. The Lakers are +5 to begin the game in rebounding.
Troy Hudson has had a spectacular series. And, you know, the Lakers, we all know, every team in the league knows the weakness of the Lakers is the power forward position defensively in the Western Conference and defending point guards.
Hudson and Serbiak working on Kobe Bryant. Rejected. And a charge on Wally Serbiak.
So obviously the game plan, though, is to attack. Everybody's getting the ball and going towards the basket very aggressively. What you do is get Shaq to come over to help so you can dump it or get him in foul trouble. I like that philosophy of going towards him as opposed to just shooting outside shots.
Serbiak picks up his first.
Well, excellent defensive play right there by Robert Horry. The Lakers defense has come out and played with a little bit more of a focus and intensity than they have throughout this series, with the exception of Game 4.
Away by Anthony Peeler. That's the first Los Angeles turnover since the middle of Game 4. Peeler. And Kobe the other way.
Well, Peeler hasn't been shooting the ball well all year. And, you know, his defense has been fantastic, but they really are going to need his offense before it's all said and done.
Nice quick pass by Shaq inside to Kobe.
Well, it was a very quick reaction because it was basically a loose ball. It was just as good as Kobe making a quick cut after Shaq got his hands on it.
You can see Minnesota's defense. They are so much more aggressive here with this crowd. They're giving them a little bit more energy.
And Serbiak down the baseline. Foul as he took it inside.
Now this is amazing just that Kobe gets the ball out of this trap. Very aggressive, slapping the ball over the place. Kobe kicks it to him. A little soccer play right there. Beautiful bounce pass to Shaq.
Well, looking at this, Shaq is sealing this man. Look, he even licks his fingers. Really ready. He's getting ready to have dessert right now. Just give it to me real quickly.
He's been watching Steve Nash a little bit.
Well, also watching Dan Marino, the great Miami quarterback. He used to lick his fingers every time he was going to throw the ball. Kendall Gill is coming now for Minnesota. Serbiak hits the free throw. And he is now 19 of 22 is Serbiak from the free throw line in this series. Lakers have led by 6. Wolves have led by as many as 2.
Had a good play by Serbiak, Coach, what you're talking about, going to the basket. He got the charge on the time before, but that didn't stop him. Went right back to the basket the next time.
And the timing of that is important. You've got to attack them early in the game to make them a little tentative if they get in foul trouble or get a little discouraged.
Here comes Bryant, averaging over 30 points a game in this series, and is fouled as he takes it again inside. He's banged by a couple.
Speaking about a hard guy to guard.
Yeah.
Kobe is really tough going in there because once you stop his primary move, he can do something else and still get up a shot for a foul.
Here's Kobe Bryant at the free throw line. And Danny, the foul was on the Starovich for the first time.
Well, that is a little wrinkle right there. That has nothing to do with the triangle offense. Kobe Bryant came down the court, got the ball at the top of the key. He's running a little high pick and roll, which they call bounder, with Robert Horry. And he just attacks the basket, penetrates, and that's the biggest nightmare for Starovich on the inside. You're dealing with Shaq, and all of a sudden you got Kobe coming at you off the penetration.
Well, most people with Kobe's ability don't want to be involved in set plays, and that's a dilemma sometimes for a coach when you have an athletic and a creative player. How much do you keep him in the system? How much do you let him go?
Kobe and Fisher each have 6, 4 for Serbiak, and here comes a driving Troy Hudson, with the Lakers again equaling their biggest lead.
You know, Troy Hudson is huge. He's off to not a great start so far in this game. Only got one good shot attempt and made it. But, you know, he's never had back-to-back 25-point games in his whole career. And he's had 3 in this series.
Shaq's got 4.
The Lakers are hoping, like Shaq said in the open, you know, they're hoping Troy Hudson wakes up and plays his normal game instead of the superhuman performances he's put up so far in this series.
Nice defense by Devin George as Serbiak comes up short. It's Bryant to Fisher, who has knocked down a 3, in fact 2 already for Los Angeles. Kobe Bryant. Rebound by Kevin Garnett, who lassos his first. Minnesota comes the other way, having missed their last 4 shots. Hudson over Shaquille. Saved by Gill. Saved again by Kendall Gill. Took it inside and a foul. Before he got out of that defense of Los Angeles, Fisher picks it up for L.A.
But then another example, you can see what the game plan is. They're definitely looking to go to the basket extremely strong against the Lakers. To force Shaq to play defense and to use energy early in the game is very important.
Well, and Shaq has not been in foul trouble in this series, and typically in series past, he'll have 1 or 2 games where he gets a little bit of early foul trouble.
Knocked away by Horry and a shove by Robert Horry, who picks up a foul for Los Angeles. That's the first on him. Shaquille O'Neal is averaging 30 points, 16 rebounds, and 3 blocked shots a game in this series. 4 double-doubles so far. Lakers with their biggest lead of 8, 18-10. Lakers shooting 7 of 14. Minnesota 4-12 to start things, and Shaq's got 4. Garnett's got 2, and Kobe Bryant for Los Angeles with 6. You know, we've been talking about the officials, Danny. We saw the game 3 Thursday out in Los Angeles.
Oh my God! Don't start it.
Well, that has been the topic of conversation in a lot of ways regarding this series.
Everywhere I've gone, Kevin, that's all anybody wants to talk about. But you know what? That game was officiated great up until just the last few calls. And throughout the games I've been watching, I've been seeing the officials do a good job throughout and I was a little upset at Bobby Jackson's comments that, you know, he'd rather have high school officials. I think that the NBA officials are the best officials in any league. There's no conspiracy theory. There was a few bad calls at the end of that one game, but I think the officiating has been excellent throughout the playoffs.
And when I said that, he criticized me. Was I looking for a job?
Yeah, that's right.
I was criticizing you for saying off the air that it was a bad call, and on the air saying it was a good call.
Trying to be nice.
Bryant with the miss. Here comes Kendall Gill ahead to Kevin Garnett. Got a screen and takes advantage of it. And Garnett now with 5 points, a couple rebounds in 7 minutes.
Well, he has special talents. I mean, this guy gets up and down the floor and can do everything.
Kendall Gill with the steal on Kobe Bryant. And just like that, we've got a 3-point game.
And that's what pressure defense will do. It'll just break you down. Just consistently stay in it, whether you get the ball or not. Sooner or later, something will break down.
Look, and Shaq caught the ball about 18 feet away from the basket against the pressure.
It's Derek Fisher hooking it inside to Robert Horry. Rebound by Wally Serbiak.
Flip Saunders has done a great job of preparing his team for this playoff series.
2 turnovers for Minnesota and a turnover for the Los Angeles Lakers so far.
The Lakers don't give it any thought even to trying to get a fast break. That's why it's so important for the Timberwolves to keep them off of the offensive boards.
Shaq is doubled. Rebound by Kevin Garnett of Minnesota.
If you're not going to get fast break baskets, you certainly are crazy not to let them get putbacks as they did in the last game.
Hudson playing hide and go seek, but then a Sturridge screen, and Hudson uses it to his advantage.
Got to run somebody at him, Kevin. I mean, they're going to him so much in their half-court sets. Got to do something with it.
A 7-0 Minnesota run.
Well, and Derek Fisher had to cover the pick and roll like 4 different times there without a lot of support.
Lakers have missed 4 in a row, and Shaq will end that drought. as he crushes one inside.
Tell you what else looks interesting too. The help is not coming as aggressively back on Shaq, and I'm gonna tell you, Nesterovic is gonna have his hands full if he's got to guard Shaq by himself.
Nesterovic, Garnett, Serbiak, Gill, and Hudson from Minnesota out there. Lakers with George, Ori, O'Neal, Bryant, and Derek Fisher.
Well, here's what I'm talking about. Here comes the pick and roll. Nesterovic sets one screen. He comes back, sets another screen. Comes and sets it a third time. And then a fourth pick and roll. And Derek Fisher, I don't know how he's going to do that. He's got to have some help on the pick.
Kendall Gill knocks down a three-point shot. And Gill hits his second three-pointer of this 5-game series so far.
And I think the offense of Kendall Gill and Anthony Peeler has been non-existent so far in this series. And that could be huge for the Timberwolves.
They're going to call it a 2. Here's a 3 by George at the other end. And that is the third Laker 3. Minnesota is 0 of 2 from three-point territory, and George has 5.
Well, Devin George is an excellent basketball player. We talked about his athleticism. He's longer than Fox. He's a better outside shooter, in my opinion. He looks to score more than Fox. He's just not as consistent or as smart.
Troy Hudson trying to manufacture something inside as the Lakers will come the other way, shooting 47%. Minnesota shooting 44% for the game.
Lakers are giving Troy Hudson too much freedom. I mean, this guy was a surprise in the first game, but by now, some adjustments have got to be made to him.
Kobe Bryant working on Gill.
And that's a tough shot. And, you know, those are the kind of shots that Kobe's getting in this series, Coach. And that's why Kobe's shooting 37% in my mind, because every shot is contested. Every shot is fading away. He's getting very little easy opportunities.
Kobe Bryant's got a game-high 8 as Hudson spoon feeds Kevin Garnett. Working on Orion over Shaq. Rebound by Shaquille O'Neal. His fourth rebound, George, 2-on-1. Kobe Bryant looking for the alley-oop from George in a Los Angeles turnover. It's Serbiak to Hudson. And back to Serbiak, who thought about 3 as he teases George. And they'll reload with about 2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Well, that was an opportunity for Kobe to get it easy when we were just talking about a horrible fast break pass.
Kevin Garnett's got 7 points.
Well, they fast break so infrequently when they do it, the guy throws the ball away. I mean, that would have been some incentive. Kobe would have dramatically dunked that ball.
Lakers have led by as many as 8 points here in the first quarter. Minnesota's at a 2-point lead. It's a big night for this young Minnesota franchise, trailing the 3-time defending champion Lakers. It's about as festive as you can imagine here in the Twin Cities. The Target Center was a buzz, both outside and inside, before our Game 5 tonight, with this series tied at 2 wins apiece. You want drama? He's got your drama right there.
Is that Sager?
It was.
Long hair out there.
Here comes Brian Shaw, newly instated into the game. Mark Madsen is also in for the Lakers. Fisher's hit 2 threes, launches a third. Derek Fisher has put in 9 above the arc tonight so far.
Hudson's going over to make the trap. Nobody comes up to support him, nor does he return. Fisher's going to be shooting free throws from the top of the key.
Nesterovic is shooting from the top of the key and hits it right there. If he can stay out of foul trouble, he can help Minnesota dramatically tonight.
Well, Mark Jackson, they're kind of tag team and Shaq, so his time kind of comes and goes just depending on the time of the clock, because they're trying to keep fresh bodies on Shaq.
That's a Laker turnover right there. Los Angeles has turned it over now 3 times to Minnesota's 2 turnovers. Fisher's got 9 to lead Los Angeles, and 7 by Kevin Garnett leads Minnesota.
Bad news for Minnesota. The Lakers aren't playing well and they're still leading.
You know, Fisher's shooting like 70% from the 3-point line. This is flashbacks of the series against San Antonio a few years ago when they swept them.
Nesterovic turns it over. Here comes Derek Fisher. And that is a 2. He steps on the line and fans. And he vacuums in the loose ball and gives it from 24 to Los Angeles. It's Kobe thinking about 3. Deploys a 3. Rebound Kevin Garnett, who grabs his 4th rebound of the game.
You know, and I look down at the box score and I'm seeing my guy Devin George. What a great job he's doing so far in this game. He's got 5 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. That's better than Rick Fox is averaging throughout the whole series.
Brian Shaw just picks up his first foul for Los Angeles.
But the great thing about Fox out there, he adds the intangible of intelligence, giving support, understanding how to play the game just a little bit more than George right now. The other thing that I cannot understand is that as aggressive and as instrumental as Hudson has been in the success of the T-Wolves, why something has not happened to disrupt him now. He has too much freedom for a guy that's playing as well as he's been playing.
Mark Jackson comes in for Minnesota, taking the place of Serbiak. The Timberwolves from the line tonight, 4 of 5. And Hudson has now hit 29 consecutive free throws, make it 30 straight in this series.
You know, Coach, and I feel the same way. You know, what their game plan is to try to slow down Wally Serbiak. They don't think that Hudson and Garnett are going to beat him. And so they don't double-team Kevin Garnett. He's the only star in the playoffs that's not being double-teamed right now. And they don't double-team pick and rolls.
Minnesota's got a foul to give.
Well, it's unbelievable, too, because Hudson's been an inspiration with his play.
That's on Shaquille O'Neal, who picks up his second foul tonight.
Well, see, and that's the thing that they have to do. And that time they jumped in and got a charge off of him. That may be somewhat debatable, but I have the biasness of being a big guy, and you hate those little guys running under you. But the smart thing to do is to try to get Shaq tentative early in the ball game.
Well, he's already into his move, and Hudson comes over. That's a very, very close one right there. Difficult. Shaq is by far the most difficult player of all time to officiate.
Samaki Walker has taken the place of Shaq. But the key stat in all of that is that Shaq has 2 fouls. That was my point earlier in the game. Get him dissatisfied and questionable.
Jackson's been taken out. Serbiak brought back in for the final 5 seconds. Here comes Hudson. He's had a couple of buzzer beaters in this series. Dancing on Manson, trying to beat him with a 3, and just comes up off on the shot. Derek Fisher with a game-high 9 so far, knocking in 3 3-point hits in that first quarter. 3 of 3 overall, above the arc tonight for Derek Fisher. The series is tied at 2, Los Angeles and Minnesota.
Welcome back to Minneapolis with the T-Wolves and Lakers on a 3-point game after 1. Moments ago, Danny Ainge mentioned the excellent preparation by Flip Saunders and his coaching staff. I talked to Flip before the game. He said 9 days ago he wasn't quite sure what he had in the locker room, but the players' confidence is growing. However, so is the intensity and pressure. On this night, which he says is the biggest night so far in this franchise's history, I told the players, have fun. Don't worry about the past. Enjoy this moment.
And the crowd, Craig, has certainly shown up as Shaw loses a shoe and feeds to Manson, who's out there. Kobe, Fisher, and Ori. Shaq on the bench with a couple of fouls. And here comes Manson, splits the defense and drives down the lane.
You gotta love Elmer. Elmer does a great job. He splits the trap. Oh, that was huge because Brian Shaw was putting his shoe on, so that's why they went and trapped him out at half court.
He's sending a help sign. Didn't go to the basket.
And Shaw, with the shoe firmly on his foot, makes the steal, feeds to Fisher, who's knocked down a couple of threes, hits a 2-point shot right there. And the Lakers, who have led by as many as 8, up now 32-25. Minnesota out there, Peeler, Serbiak, Jackson, Gary Trent, and Rod Strickland now feeds to Serbiak.
And what a huge time of the game, because when Shaq was out in game 4, they had major drop-off. But right there, 2 big baskets.
It's Strickland trying to rocket down the lane. Jackson got the pass, and a Laker foul inside, and Shaw picks up his second foul for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, we made fun of Mad Dog when he was bringing the ball up the court, but right here, there's 5 against 4. He just splits Serbiak right there, and then he gets all the way to the rim. That is sweet.
And the thing he did that is so good, though, anytime somebody tries to pressure you, you got to try to attack the basket and score. That's the thing that gets the trap more discouraged than anything.
This is game 5 of this Minnesota-Los Angeles best-of-7 first-round Western Conference matchup. 2-2 is our series tie. That's why it is such a big game for the Timberwolves. They're in almost uncharted territory right now. Only one other time in the history of the franchise have they been to a game 5, and that was against Seattle back in the late 90s.
This is usually Kobe's time, Kevin. I'm sorry. You know, right now with Shaq out of the game.
It really amazes me how this pressure on the ball has disrupted the Lakers.
That's out of bounds. It's Kobe Bryant.
It's amazing.
John, just as you say, coughs it over.
I mean, they really are putting pressure on him. Shaq's not in the game, so they've got 5 guys who are a little smaller than Shaq at least, but the pressure is definitely creating a problem for the Lakers.
This is the 7th consecutive postseason appearance by the Timberwolves, the 4 seed against the Laker 5 seed slot. And it's a turnover by Minnesota. 3-on-3. Fisher inside, and Strickland and Serbiak were there, and Serbiak. They're going to put it on Strickland. Strickland picks up his first.
You know what amazes me? Right there, Rod Strickland came off that pick and roll, and Robert Horry and Derek Fisher trapped him. They trapped Rod Strickland, and they're not trapping Troy Hudson. The guy's averaging 27 a game in the series.
Well, that's the one. I think definitely you should run some traps or some switches on Troy to get him thinking. I mean, he's just so free. But you're absolutely correct. Strickland hasn't even been in the game, and right away you start to trap him, and he's very savvy with the ball. He can find an open man extremely well.
Fisher's first free throw is no good. This is only his 5th free throw attempt of the series, and he's 1 of 5.
All that being said, the Lakers are still ahead, though.
Yep. Yeah, they've led by 8. They lead now 33-26.
Well, Jackson would love to let Shaq sit until about the 7-minute mark anyway with that 2 fouls, if they can keep this game with the lead.
Serbiak hounded by Shaw. He lunges in, knocks it away, and here comes 37-year-old Brian Shaw.
And Shaw gives him what Fox gives him, you know, that experience. 2 great defensive plays by Brian Shaw. You know, it was amazing. The guy doesn't even get in the game in the first 3 games hardly at all. And then in game 4, the biggest game of the year, Shaw gets in so early.
Lakers have their biggest lead tonight.
Well, and this is what Brian Shaw does. I mean, he does a great job of defending the pass. He moves his feet. He gets a hand on it. This is what I'm surprised at. You see no defenders coming after Shaw. Why are the Lakers not running? You still have got to run. If you don't have the opportunity, you can pull up and stop and take your time.
Timeout.
On the next American morning, a little boy lost, a little boy found, and an anxious family waits for answers. I'm Bill Hemmer. Will a DNA test prove their missing boy has been found more than 2 years after he disappeared? Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern.
Introduce yourself to Bacardi Silver 03 Premium Malt Beverage. As much fun as you can have with orange. 5% alcohol by volume. Your night just got more interesting.
From now on, long-distance, local, and high-speed internet will be together. Voice and data networks for companies large and small will be together. The innovations of one of the world's largest internet providers and the simplicity of one global network will be together. Together, under one name. MCI.
In this series, second chance points have been one of the big things the Los Angeles Lakers have done to help out their cause. In particular, in game 4, they were dominant in that category.
Well, every quarter, they just came out. 5 dunks for Shaq early in that first quarter off of the offensive boards. And then a big tip in down the stretch. 29-2. I mean, that is just flat out embarrassing. And right now, you know, Minnesota's holding their own. Only 2 offensive rebound points in the first quarter.
Well, and it's really ridiculous to let somebody beat you 29-2 on the offensive boards who's not running. That's the only avenue in which they're going to get easy baskets if they're not trying to get fast break baskets. Just keep them off of the boards after they shoot.
Here's Kevin Garnett over Kobe Bryant. And Garnett now has put in a Minnesota high 9. The Timberwolves, up until that trip, had turned it over 4 times in the last 5 trips.
And they continue to pressure. Every time they get a basket, they're pressuring. But they got to find a way to get this crowd back in this game.
Robert Horry working on Trent.
What in the world is that?
And Garnett with his 6th of the game.
Robert Horry is a guy who passes up a lot of open shot opportunities. All of a sudden is taking step-back dribbles.
And look at Trent. Powers his way inside for the Timberwolves to bring him to within 5.
Well, and we talk about, Danny, the game plan defensively, but it's quite obvious the T-Wolves have an attack mentality on offense right now.
Anthony Peeler with the steal. Here comes Strickland, who finds Serbiak, who laces one in the corner now to Peeler, who is looking for Garnett, skying up against Manson. And that's the matchup we've got there. Strickland, nice fake, and Ori bit. It's Shaw at the other end for Robert Ori. Nice fake, and Strickland flies by.
Well, that might get the lid off for Robert Ori. You know, we saw him come down the court, take a step-back dribble. He hardly ever tries to create his own offense off the dribble. And then we saw him do a little step-back defense on Gary Trent as he walked the dog right to the rim.
Kevin Garnett. And a rebound by Fisher. It is +4 in rebounding for the Lakers.
See, I like this when the Lakers are pushing the ball a little bit. I haven't been impressed with the transition defense of the T-Wolves. They're so good on picking up 40, they're not getting back when the Lakers run.
Lakers are shooting 53%. Manson cleans it up and does not get the foul.
Oh, those are huge opportunities. And we saw how Ori got open. As he rotates out, he just continues on. Right there's Robert Ori, and then he just is going to rotate out to the shooter and just keeps on going. He gets pump fake. It's called cherry picking, and every scorer knows how to do that. Robert Ori takes advantage of it. I used to get 1 or 2 a game of those, Coach.
It's called going to sleep through on part of the defense.
Serbiak and Strickland are out. Kendall Gill back in with Hudson. Peeler's out there with Trent and Garnett. That is the Minnesota 5. As Manson misses badly at the line. Tomorrow it's a triple-header of Game 5 on TNT. First New Orleans, Philly, Portland, Dallas, Utah, Sacramento. That's all on TNT. All beginning at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on NBA TV. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Orlando and Detroit. That's in high def. NBA TV, Game 5, Magic and Pistons.
Oh, Manson darn near shot an air ball right there. I think he's got to get a little bit of that Elmer's glue off his fingers.
And this is 2. The Lakers are 3 of 6 at the line. Minnesota 6 of 8. Here come the Timberwolves, and they are shooting 46% from the floor. Gill, nice ball rotation. Hudson for 3.
And those 3-pointers are exactly what you need to get this crowd back in the game, and the defensive pressure picks up.
Hudson has 9, Garnett has 9, game high 12 from Derek Fisher of Los Angeles.
Somebody needs to introduce the Lakers to Hudson's stats in the playoffs.
Shaq is back in, a 3-point try by Shaw, a rebound by Kevin Garnett. And Anthony Peeler. Gennaro Pargo is in for the Lakers as well. A rookie from Arkansas. Hudson. Troy Hudson has a Minnesota high 12, and he's put in 6 in the second quarter.
And right back in the game, twice Pargo, the rookie, comes in. He leaves Troy Hudson to go for a steal.
Kobe Bryant, Mark Manson. And here comes Hudson. And Minnesota will try for the lead. Anthony Peeler slashing inside. Rebound by Shaw.
But that's the aggressiveness that they had offensively in the first game. They were attacking.
Bryant fouled as he shot it. And Nesterovic picks up his second foul for Minnesota.
Well, we see a double team right there. Garnett anticipates it, does a great job. Horrible weak side rotation. You don't want to leave Hudson. And then Pargo, he got caught cheating again. He was trapped. Garnett out at the hash mark is late getting to Hudson. That's the last guy you want to leave open for a 3-point shot, Coach.
I mean, how can you not find him? That's the thing that's important. I mean, you're running around trapping people who aren't even taking shots. Stay on this man and tag him. Just stay with him to discourage him.
Lakers can't hit their free throws. Now 3 of 7 from the free throw line. Here's Kobe Bryant, who's got 8 points and 3 rebounds so far. Minnesota is on a 10-2 run.
In the meantime, the Lakers are still leading.
They are by 2. Minnesota's had 1 2-point lead, 2-0 to start the game on a Garnett shot. Pargo is jousting with Hudson. Gill's picked up by Bryant. Garnett double.
If you pargo, you don't let Hudson score. Your playing time is predicated on impressing the coach.
Kevin Garnett has just tied the game at 38. And Kevin Garnett has started the game 5 of 10, 11 points and 7 rebounds.
And look at this crowd right back in the game.
It's Shaw. Shaq playing with 2 fouls. And the rookie Pargo. Mysterious guarding Shaquille O'Neal with 5 on the shot clock. Out of bounds, Los Angeles will get it.
Minnesota's milking the pick and roll right here. No room right there. Garnett comes up screen. Now they're starting to respect Hudson. And there's Garnett back for the pick and pop.
The Timberwolves are on a 12-3 run. They've come back to tie the defending champion Lakers.
At this time, you've got to think that Troy Hudson is not a surprise, even as much as a surprise as he's been, because he's been a definite impact player in this series, and it's time really for somebody to tag him.
Shot clock is at 4 after the timeout. Robert Horry over Garnett. Shaq trying to tap it. Nestorowicz bounces it away, saved by Peeler. And here comes Minnesota. They've knocked down 2 3-point shots. They've been led by the 12 of Hudson, 11 from Garnett. In this contest, 5.5 to play in the first half.
And a good job just on the length of Nestorowicz to knock that ball free from Shaq.
Shot clock is at 4. Nestorowicz against Shaq. And he thought he was hit.
Well, if you want to be hit, you don't fade to the corner and then get mad at the official. Go to him and take the blow.
Lakers have had no field goals in the last 3 minutes plus. It's into Shaq. And fouled on the play. Nestorowicz got a hold of his hand. And a foul goes on Minnesota. It goes on Anthony Peeler for the first time. Craig Sager, what do you have?
You mentioned Peeler's defense and Kobe Bryant. I talked to him before the game. He said it's definitely made him a better defender. He said he's not like a lot of guards in the league who just throw the ball in and run through. With Kobe, he's always in the attack mode, and he's always trying to shoot the ball. Peeler says, I try to crowd him. I don't let him look me in the face. I try to make him turn his back so he won't know where the help is coming.
Anthony Peeler's defense has been good as Shaq misses his first free throw. The Lakers are 4 of 9 from the free throw line tonight, and Shaq, guys, in the series 62% from the free throw line.
You know, just as Peeler has a game plan for guarding Kobe, somebody on the Lakers team has got to have a book on how you're going to attack what do you call it, Hudson out there, because Hudson's too instrumental in their offense. Just can't float around, let him go, and then come back to him.
Lakers with a 1-point lead. Hudson, Peeler, Garnett, Jackson, and Serbiak, the Minnesota 5. Timberwolves are shooting 48%. Hudson switches inside. And Minnesota's got their lead since the opening seconds of the game.
Well, Derek Fisher was looking the whole time. He wasn't even paying any attention to Hudson. He was looking for the screen, looking over his shoulder. Hudson just went away from the screen. But where is the weak side help of the Lakers?
Hudson's got 8 in the quarter and 14 for the game. 14 points, a game high.
And Hudson is unbelievable surprise, and he obviously just still hasn't earned the respect of this Laker defense. This guy's averaging 14 points a game or 13 points a game more than he scored. Look at Fisher's head. He's looking at the screen. Oops, excuse me. I'm right by you. Where's the help? Shaq too late getting there.
Yeah, the kid can detonate, can't he, John?
No, he definitely can. And at this point, he definitely should not be a surprise. I mean, we talk about how you guard Kobe. Certainly, I'm not making a comparison. But in the same token, you look at the numbers that you have here. I mean, this kid is doing a lot better in some areas than Kobe is doing. But you certainly got to say, I got a game plan. And I'm certain Phil Jackson has told him how to guard him. You got to pay attention to this man now.
Here comes Shaquille O'Neal out there with Shaw, Fisher, Kevin George, and Robert Horry. Shaw will exit, and Kobe Bryant comes in for the final 4:40 of the second quarter. We're tied at 40 apiece.
Hudson was a surprise before the playoffs. Now he's a nightmare.
That's what the playoffs are all about, when reputations are born.
Yeah, and you know, you've got to be able to do what if the team takes something away. Hudson is their third leading scorer, and you know he's got to be able to step up because of the way they're defending Wally.
They're going to wipe away that free throw because he stepped over the line when he shot the free throw, and that is something that Shaq has kind of gotten away with throughout his career, and more recently than not. As Hudson comes the other way, so we remain tied at 40 apiece. Hudson, nice fake. Here's Garnett. Hudson trying to knife his way inside. The Laker foul. That goes on Derek Fisher. That's the second on him.
Well, at least there was some help there that time, but Hudson's doing the right thing. He's attacking the basket, searching for fouls and not the basket.
Well, and Hudson, I don't know if he was going to shoot that or pass that. Wally was wide open because they did come up and help him. And that's what I thought would happen without Fox in the game, that Wally would get some more looks. We talked about Wally being the happiest guy in Minneapolis because the shadow, Rick Fox, is gone. But he has not been involved in this offense yet. They've done a good job. Devins has stripped him. Ori's taken a charge, and Brian Shaw has stripped him.
Serbiak turns it over. Minnesota 7 turnovers. Los Angeles 6. Ori for 3. Robert Ori nails the 5th three-point shot for the Lakers in this game.
More importantly, he got the lid off. That's the first three-point shot Robert Ori's hit in this entire series.
It's Hudson. Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson's shooting has been something to watch as well.
Look at the full-court pressure. They're denying everybody up front, and Garnett is playing in the back, looking for the steal and the pass.
Well, and this is the time of the game in Game 2, Coach. Remember, they got the steals, and the Lakers have got to finish this half strong.
Into Shaq, who makes the flush. He's got 10 points and 4 rebounds. And that is Shaq's first field goal since the 3:54 mark of the first quarter.
Attack the pressure to score. That's the thing that'll get the T-Wolves very tentative if you attack it to score.
Jackson is screen for Hudson, but meets Shaq. And a 3 by Hudson. Jackson and George. They're both those sticks inside.
You know, and I don't understand that pick and roll. Here comes Hudson off the pick and roll again to his right. Wide open three-point shot. The man that sets the screen, Jackson. Shaq gives no help on Hudson, and he doesn't get the rebound. You got to do one or the other.
Both teams are shooting 50% from the floor. Garnett trying to laser one inside to Serbiak. Another Minnesota turnover, second consecutive turnover. And Fisher the other way.
Lakers defense showing a lot more support now.
Nice fake by Fisher. He's had the hot hand and continues that way. He has got a Laker high 14. Hudson's got 14 for Minnesota, so the two guards are thriving early on.
Well, I think one thing to really watch out for in the last 3 minutes of this half is try to keep Fisher from picking up his third, because he's had an incredible first half, and try to keep Shaq from picking up their third, his third.
It's Peeler to Kevin Garnett. And picked up by Robert Ori. Garnett's got 13 points in the game.
Boy, that's sweet. That is really sweet.
A little Tim Duncan action right there off the glass. Ori's looking to be aggressive on offense.
Another 3 knocked in by Robert Ori.
And I was talking to Kurt Rambis before the game. I said, why doesn't Robert do that? They don't even guard him out there. He passes up so many open shots throughout the course of the game. Right there, Robert looks like he's got the offensive mindset.
Hudson slithering inside. Shaq rejects the shot with 2:18 to play. But Hudson has been in a dream world. He's got 14 tonight. Do not wake this guy up, because he has been key for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Pretty well the entire first half. 14 apiece.
Well, Troy Hudson, he's still living the dream right there. Fisher has been incredible shooting the ball in this series, especially from the three-point line. Those two guys are huge. The Lakers, when they get that kind of output, typically from Fisher, they very seldom lose. But the difference is that Kobe is not contributing offensively at the same percentage that he normally does. He's taking a lot of shots, Coach, to get the same amount of points he did during the regular season.
Well, he is, and I think he's getting the kind of attention that Hudson should get from the Lakers. They're trapping him sometimes when he gets the ball and forcing him to cough it up.
Hudson against Fisher, screened by Kevin Garnett, who's picked up by Ori. And Garnett with a miss and out of bounds off Los Angeles with 2:07 to play. In this first half, Lakers are +3 in rebounding so far, as you see the scoring leaders for the Timberwolves.
And they seem to be closing the floor now on Hudson. Phil has gotten on him a little bit and told him to close the floor out.
And now Peeler turns it over.
You know, Kobe, we talked about his shooting percentage, and he did obviously hurt his arm in game 2 going for the dunk against Naserovic, and hasn't been the same since. But he's getting good looks. His shot doesn't look affected. I think those kind of things, I've had that shoulder pain, and typically those, it hurts you when you go for a block shot or going to dunk.
Derek Fisher buries a 2. He's got 16 points, and he's gone 6 of 7 from the field.
And no shoulder pain there, though, Kevin.
No. Los Angeles has hit 5 consecutive shots and well over 65% in this second quarter shooting. Hudson, Peeler, shot clock at 10, and Fisher is down. And so it's a 5-on-4 game with Kendall Gill exploiting the injured Fisher on the floor, and Phil Jackson wants a 20.
Well, the thing about Fisher, he flops so much that when he actually does get hit, he's looking for the refs for help, but they're going, hey, every time you fall, I'm just going to assume it's a flop, and I'm not going to give you that call.
Fox is already out for the season with the tendon problem in his left foot, and there is a hobbling Derek Fisher. That is one player they truly cannot be without.
Well, and that's exactly right, Kevin, because that's a big problem if he goes down, because you really don't have anybody else that can chase Hudson around the floor. Fisher has just started to get very aggressive and very physical with it.
You know, and that actually was a little bit of a moving screen. But again, I certainly do not blame the officials.
A technical foul on Robert Horry, who is complaining to Ed Rush, one of our officials, about the call. So Horry gets the tee, 1:30 to play. Guys, let's step back and get some perspective to this game. With series tied at 2 apiece. A game 5 is always critical, but how important is it for Minnesota, this game 5?
Oh my gosh, this is the biggest game of their franchise without question, in my opinion. You know, 82% of the teams that win this game, Kevin, win the series. This game is the most important game of their history.
It's as simple as this, Kevin. It's 2 for 1. You have 2 opportunities after you win this game, if you win this game, to get one to be the winner of the series. So if they win this, whoever wins this ball game's got 2 opportunities.
Hudson is 2 of 2 tonight, 30 consecutive free throws he has made in this series. He's one of the top, oh my gosh. He's one of the top 5 free throw shooters in the NBA. But on the Robert Horry technical throw, he misses, and so the Lakers still on top. 52-46. Los Angeles is led by as many as 9. Minnesota by as many as 2. Wolves did have a lead in this second quarter. They led early on 2-0.
And the strange thing about it, Kevin, if you were a boxing match, it looks like you would almost give the T-Wolves the lead in points, but the Lakers are still winning.
There goes Shaq again. That's one of the reasons why they're winning. Shaq has got 12 points and 4 rebounds. And the Lakers on top 54-46.
And if help doesn't come when Shaq gets the ball, you don't defend him, you protect yourself.
And they got to play this last minute without getting a foul on Shaq and Fisher.
And Fisher remains in the game on the miss by Gill. And Mark Jackson is down for Minnesota, hobbling the other way. Kobe Bryant with a through pass inside to Shaquille O'Neal, who is whacked and hacked and fouled.
Well, right there, I mean, everyone's in the stands is yelling that Shaq was 3 seconds. Kevin Garnett had 2 hands in self-defense. The second Shaq caught the ball. But this is a good play by Kobe. He just throws it up over the top of Shaq. Look at Garnett. That's his self-defense right there. He's just trying to keep from getting killed.
Mark Jackson just hobbling to the locker room, as you can see right there, and he's in pain. We just saw Fisher moments ago, and he was hurt, but now he is out there walking and running with regularity. And here at the free throw line is Shaquille O'Neal, who tonight is 2 of 4. Lakers are 6 of 12 as a team from the stripe.
And I don't really like the fact, you can't let Shaq dunk, so you got to put him on the free throw line. But most of the time, as Shaq gets a chance to get into rhythm, coach, from the free throw line, the more he shoots, the better he typically gets.
Well, and if you let him catch the ball, he's had a lot of freedom in there. Realistically, they could have even gone to him a lot more. The defender who's left alone with him doesn't defend him. He protects himself.
I don't think Kobe is comfortable with only having 9 points. He just likes to score more. He's over 9 from the field.
Lakers have their biggest lead in 10. Anthony Peeler with the miss. Kobe Bryant grabs the rebound. Lakers are +6 in rebounding. Kobe the other way. A Shaq screen, and into Shaq it goes. And Kobe Bryant with the assist.
Beautiful pass by Kobe. 2 in a row getting Shaq going. He looks like he was looking for Shaq definitely on those 2 plays.
John, what about the emotional level of Minnesota tonight? Something they needed so much in game 2 and got.
Well, and they started out with the fans being involved, and I don't think they played absolutely poorly. It's just a reflection on the fact of how good Kobe and Shaq really are.
Lakers have a foul to give. Excuse me, it's Nastarovic with 2 seconds on the shot clock and hits it for Minnesota. Nastarovic just got 6.
And did you see the disgusted look on Shaq's face? Said, really?
Kobe Bryant trying to beat the buzzer on the fly to Shaq, and Peeler countered him up. Shot would have counted had it gone in. No call. Buzzer sounds. We're at halftime with Phil Jackson and the 3-time defending champion Los Angeles Lakers up by 10 at the break. Minnesota took a 1-point lead with about 5 minutes left, and the Lakers closed out the half on a 19-8 run, helped by Derek Fisher, who is standing by with our Craig Sager.
Well, Derek, you're the leading scorer in the game, but I asked you what happened on that pick when you went down.
I'm not sure if he moved or not, but I felt like his legs were a little bit wide. My understanding of the rule is you got to keep it within shoulder distance. It seemed like he stuck his knee out and kneed me right above my knee in the quadriceps.
Just a bruised knee, nothing serious?
Yeah, just a contusion. I'll be okay. Go get some ice on it, get a stretch on it, and try and come back out and help us hold on to this game.
Although you have the lead, you get 2 quick threes early. Defensively, do you need to pay more attention to Troy Hudson?
Well, you know, I think we're doing not necessarily our best, but we're trying out there. He's hitting some good shots. You just got to give him credit for playing well during this time of year. And we're trying, you know, to run a lot of screen rolls and clear space for him, and that's part of the game. But, you know, we got a 10-point lead now, so I don't care if he scores 40 as long as we win.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you.
Fisher and Shaq each have 16 points apiece. Those are game-high honors, 14 for Hudson. The Verizon halftime is coming up. The Lakers scored 9 of their last 10 trips to close the half. At halftime, Los Angeles by 10. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT.
Not scoring than I would about Kobe. First of all, Kobe's leading the game by 10 points right now. The other thing, I don't feel that the T-Wolves are doing much to try to help Szczerbiak get involved in the ball game. Their focus offensively has been a lot on getting other players open. You got to help him now because he's not as creative with the ball individually as Kobe might be in isolation. Set some screens for him, run him off or something, get him started, get his confidence back.
Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Flip Saunders had a strong message for Wally Szczerbiak. He said, you are making bad decisions. Stop trying to go one-on-one, taking people off the dribble. That is not your game. Get rid of the ball. Move the ball around. Defensively, Minnesota also feels they need to mix it up a little bit more because the Lakers have adjusted to the pressure they're putting on earlier, getting some quick baskets on fast breaks. They'll move that and back that off after several timeouts. Kevin?
Like Los Angeles has scored 9 of their last 10 trips to finish out that first half. And here we go, Lakers with Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, Devin George, Robert Horry with the ball, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, right there coming out of the half, Derek Fisher went up to the official, Ed Rush. Ed Rush says, hey, I missed that call. I should have called a moving screen when you got that thigh bruise.
It's George for 3, and that's how the Lakers begin the second half. A rebound by Robert Horry and a big shot as he fades away. He's hit a couple threes tonight. Horry's got 10 points in 21 minutes, and here comes Minnesota. Peeler, Hudson, Szczerbiak, Garnett, and Nesterovic.
Well, you need to set a screen for Szczerbiak right now. You know, don't just let him go one-on-one. If you talk about him going one-on-one, he needs some help to get open right now.
Fisher knocks it away as Hudson trying to penetrate the lane.
And I think the biggest difference in the game right now, Robert Horry and Derek Fisher with 26 combined points. I don't even recognize this Robert Horry who's coming out so aggressive. We got on him for a step-back shot, but I love the way he's come out and playing offensively and attacking.
And here is the double-teamed Horry. Bryant, Shaq, and the shot clock is at 3. Fisher for 3. Good! Derek Fisher knocks down his 4th three-point shot tonight. Make it 5 for Fisher, who's got a game-high 19.
And Shaq threw a great pass to him, too. Very simple, but in its simplicity was its greatness. The double team came, he found the open guy.
Lakers have their biggest lead, Hudson for 2. O'Neal with the rebound, and Shaq now has 5.
And you can feel the life dying out pretty soon. If the Lakers keep this streak going, they'll all go watch the 3rd period of the Wild game.
Well, that would be tough because the game's over.
And the T-Wolves seem to be deflating right now. They need some help from this crowd. They need to get involved in it.
And Shaquille O'Neal with 18 points. And the Timberwolves call a timeout with less than 2 minutes gone here in the 3rd quarter. They already trail 65-48. It's the biggest lead for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight in this 5th game with the series tied at 2.
We were planning our vacation online. That's when the pain started.
Digititis is a repetitive stress injury, just like carpal tunnel syndrome, except different.
Basically, it feels like a fleshy fireball on the end of my hand.
We're seeing an explosion of this with all the double clicking that's going on. If we catch this early, we can help.
Searching for a great airfare online doesn't have to be a pain. Just go to southwest.com for our $39 to $99 internet specials when you purchase by May 1st.
You are now free to move about the country. Doesn't Miller Lite taste great? Less filling!
Wait. What about this? Doesn't Miller Lite taste great? Great taste! Great taste!
Less filling!
Great taste!
Less filling! Less filling!
What do you think about that? That's art.
Tell it over a great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
I've got an idea.
I'm the first woman to dunk in the WNBA, but I won't be the last.
I am not unique because I am part of a team.
I am always trying to win.
I am what I am. Can you handle that?
I am on a journey, but I am not alone.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by Hyundai. When your car comes with America's best warranty, you win. And Burger King. The sourdough bacon cheeseburger is back for a limited time at Burger King.
More drama, more attitude, more lethal than ever.
I give my right arm for a siren right now.
Mel Gibson, Donnie Glover, and Chris Rock. Lethal Weapon 4. Friday night at 8 on TNT.
That's a look inside our truck. And here's a look at Derek Fisher, who has been magnificent above the three-point arc tonight. He's got a game-high 19 points. Fisher in the series, guys, 18 of 28 throwing up threes.
That is amazing. I mean, that's just when he's wide open. Right there, he even came and shot it with Kevin Garnett flying at him. The three-point shooting has been huge. And again, Robert Horry and Derek Fisher, in my opinion, they've been the difference in this game.
And right now, Fisher's putting a lot of pressure on Hudson. They don't want him to help to get them back in. I think you got to watch Garnett, too, because this is his role to try to get them started.
And Kevin Garnett with a miss right there. Starovich trying to tap it up and ties and a foul. And that was a much-needed two by Minnesota. That's the first rebound tonight by Slovenian Rasho Nesterovic in the last 17 minutes he's played.
Well, good defense right there. There's the double team. Even gives a little push and moves Shaq a little bit, but his length kept the ball alive.
Did he say excuse me after he pushed him?
All we know is that Shaq has his third foul, and that has got to be somewhat of a concern for Phil Jackson. Nesterovic completes the three-point play. As you take a look at Jackson, who has won more postseason games than any other coach. Here comes Kobe Bryant, quiet the entire night, floating downstairs into Shaq.
And that's what we talked about, Coach. The press caught him off guard in the first few games, and ever since the game two, I'm sorry, they started that press. The Lakers have done a better job each game of attacking the pressure and scoring.
Shaq's got 20. Here's Kevin Garnett inside, trying to concoct something, and O'Neal cleans up the miss.
Well, that's the thing. You're absolutely correct, and that's the thing that you make a press pay for. When you go down and pull back out, the press has nothing to lose. If you score, they get out of it.
Oh, it's Kobe Bryant trying to make it George, trying to chisel his way inside. And a foul. They call it on Nesterovic. He has 3 fouls.
Well, and defense is so much predicated on how you feel mentally. You know, you can see it's pretty deflated. Kobe penetrates, pulls 2 guys, drops it to Shaquille O'Neal. Big guys like to get that kind of basket when they're uncontested by the defense. Little guys do a good job in setting up when they penetrate.
Devin George. And the lead is 17 by Los Angeles. Here is Minnesota's defense statistically tonight.
Yeah, it's just been awful. It hasn't been with the same passion or energy, except for the few times where they've got a little run and got the crowd involved in it. And you got to give the Lakers credit, though. Robert Horry has been aggressive. Fisher's been knocking down shots. And when you make shots like that, it takes away the aggressiveness of your defense.
Well, and look at Kobe that time. He was really shaded towards Hudson. And you can tell they talked about it.
Wally Serbiak's 3rd shot tonight.
Well, it comes off of a screen, Kevin. They've got to help him to get open.
He's got 6. Kobe Bryant has got 9. Shaq with the game-high 20. Garnett and Nesterovic on him. Fisher, George picked up by Serbiak. Shot clock down to 7 for Shaq. Rebound by Kevin Garnett. He's collected 8.
That's a high percentage shot, though. That's good execution.
Hudson. Peeler thought about 3, maneuvers for 2. And Ori and Serbiak collide, and Robert Ori has picked up the Los Angeles foul. And he's got 2.
You know, Peeler is expending so much energy. We talk about Kobe's numbers. He's doing a good job of spreading the ball around ever since he's got up to that 3-for-9 slot. But, you know, he's just pretty much taken Peeler's and Gill's offense out of the series because they put so much attention on trying to stop him.
Well, that almost happens with whoever's guarding Kobe and whoever's guarding Shaq.
Here's Kevin Garnett. Winning out. Garnett tonight 6 of 15. Minnesota shooting 46%. Lakers shooting 56% from the field.
Lakers are moving that ball down the court a lot quicker than they were earlier in the game.
Well, they're running their offense a lot freer. There's not the same kind of urgency in the Minnesota defense.
And Bryant scoops it off to Robert Ori, who's had a big night with Rick Fox injured and out for the rest of the season. Ori's got 12. Devin George has 7. And the Lakers on top by 18 points, their biggest lead tonight.
And when Shaq is motivated and Ori's aggressive offensively, Devin's always aggressive offensively, Fisher making his shots, Kobe has the luxury of being a playmaker like he's doing right now.
And the foul goes on Ori for a 3rd time.
Good pass right there. Good job. Smothered chicken right there.
Well, and this is beautiful because Kobe is impressive even though he hasn't scored a lot. Penetrates, pulls 4 guys, dumps it off, and gives it to Ori for a nice, easy one off the basket.
Anthony Peeler will sit down on the Minnesota bench. They bring in veteran Kendall Gill, and here's Nesterovic at the free throw line for the Timberwolves, where tonight he's got 10 points. He is 2 of 2 from the stripe. Minnesota as a team, 8 of 11 from the line. Lakers 10 of 16 from the stripe.
Minnesota needs to regain that little swagger they had and confidence. They're in their place. If they get something going, the crowd will give them some assistance.
Right now, I don't recognize this Minnesota team from what we've seen throughout the entire series. They're not dealing with the adversity very well. There's a lot of time left in this game, and it looks like they're back on their heels versus when things are going bad for them, of picking the intensity up.
Devin George locates the double team to O'Neal. Horn, Fisher, nice rotation of Bryant. Buckle up for Kobe Bryant! Kobe Bryant just sucked the gravity out of the target center. What a play!
He might have just injured that shoulder a little bit more. The windmill slam.
You realize how difficult it is to do that.
That brought everybody out of their seat. Here comes Gill. Serbiak. And Bryant trying to get uncorked as Gill uncorks it 3 at the other end for Minnesota.
Well, Kendall Gill's been big. He's got 9 points. Peeler hasn't been able to make a shot, but Gill has given them some offense at that 2-guard position.
It's Ori to Fisher. They're approaching 6.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. Double team to get a shot. And Bryant for 3. There he goes, rolling one in from the corner. And Kobe Bryant suddenly catching fire. He's got 14 points. Remember, in 10-second quarter minutes, he didn't even attempt a shot as Hudson takes it the other way.
And it all starts with the penetration, or with the double teaming of Shaq.
And Nesterovic putting the reins on Bryant with a foul, and that's on Rasho Nesterovic, who is tagged with his 3rd. Make it 4th personal foul.
Well, Kobe's been quiet here. He does a great job going in over the 2 7-footers. Oh, my goodness. That was sweet. And then, you know what? How many times have we talked about when you go in and you make a great play like that at the basket, when those 3 points come out, how easy it looks.
He will take your breath away. Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers on top 76-58.
McGrady sees his baseline. Beautiful wraparound. Powerful move.
There's only 2 ugly people in the world, and your mama's both of them.
You know, your mama's so fat, she stepped on the dollar and made change.
I heard your mama's so ugly, she robbed the bank with no gun, just stuck her head over the counter and say, put that money in that bag. Stick 'em up. Stick 'em up.
Timing was a little off.
Oh, timing was a little off. Timing is way off.
You're not funny.
Tell it over a great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
Up top.
Mom, Dad, we're here.
Oh, great.
Oh.
The Hyundai Sonata with America's best warranty.
Boy, am I hungry.
When life keeps getting better, you win.
How much money do you owe today? 4,000? 6,000? Over 10? Credit card bills? Personal loans?
How long has it been? Feel any better than last month? The month before?
The plain and simple is life adds up. The answer is you don't have to just deal with it.
You can do something about it now, today, which could make every day better and bring you closer to becoming debt-free.
Call or visit for Care One Credit Counseling right now.
It won't cost you a penny. There are no upfront fees. It's a non-profit service.
Our guarantee is that we will treat every person with honesty, understanding, and respect.
Humility, humanity, and caring.
If you allow us to help, and you do your part, you will lower your monthly bills.
You'll feel better right away, and you'll be on your way to becoming debt-free.
You can do it. Care One will help.
Don't put it off any longer. Don't wait until it hurts. Raise your hand up, say no more, and make the call or visit online today.
Care One for you.
Any way you look at it, any way you hear it, it was spectacular by the acrobatic, death-defying Kobe Bryant. What do you think of that one, Craig?
I'll tell you, sensational, particularly since Kobe Bryant has that strained right shoulder. Trainer Gary Vitti was the busiest guy actually in the locker room during halftime. First he checked on Kobe's shoulder. He's been icing it for the past couple of days. At halftime they tried to keep it loose, don't let it tighten up. Just then when he had that other dunk and grabbed his shoulder, he talked to Gary. He said he'd ice it again tonight after the game, as soon as the game is over. Then they went over to talk to Derek Fisher. It's a bruised knee, nothing serious. They put a little bit of ice on it at halftime. And then they checked with Robert Horry, who complained of back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, and elbow pain. But Gary says, I know you're still going to play. He's missed only one game all year, despite all those injuries. Robert Horry being a warrior. Kevin?
Only pain they've had, Craig, is pain of great play tonight. They have caused excruciating pain to Minnesota as Kobe bullets a pass inside to Shaquille O'Neal. Now he's got 22 points in the game, does Shaq. That is a game high. Kevin Garnett's got 13. Bryant's got 15. And Kevin Garnett hits a three for Minnesota.
Well, they need Kevin to get him going. The big ticket's got to definitely step up because the confidence factor has dropped very low in the T-Wolves right now.
You can see the Lakers hot shooting. They have hit 15 of their last 18 shots. Devin George, who was born and raised in Minneapolis. He's got the ball now.
So they're going to go to a zone and see if they can get back into this game and try to change up the defense.
Shot clock at 2, and they got the shot they wanted, but it wouldn't drop. And here comes Minnesota. The Timberwolves are being out-rebounded by 6 so far. Deficit of 6 for Minnesota on the glass. Jackson.
Flip is trying to get that tempo he had earlier, Kevin. He's waving to him to hurry up and to push. He's using more energy than his team is actually using right now.
And a lot of times what happens is taking away the aggressiveness of the Laker offense as well. This zone. There's all sorts of confusion out there. No movement of the ball.
It's Kobe again. Lakers by 16, 4.5 to play. 10 rebounds by Kevin Garnett. Hudson slithers inside. Here comes Kobe. Garnett from behind, and a foul on Kevin Garnett. And Kevin was tagged with his 3rd foul.
I think that's a good foul. Make him shoot the free throws. When he went in for that dunk before, I thought Rasho should have laid him out. Way too easy right here. You can't let Kobe start putting on a highlight reel on you.
No,
not a lot of contact.
No, not at all. I'm not too certain about that. Not unless that hand he had down in his waist touched him.
Well, it didn't matter. I mean, Devin George had the rebound right there and was going to put it back in anyway. But you got to make him pay going to those free throw line, going to the free throw line, especially when the guy's got a hurt shoulder.
George, along with Horry, Bryant, Kobe, Shaq, and Fisher. Watch this foul. Or was it a foul?
Well, Kobe's anticipating Garnett coming. I didn't see a lot of contact or any contact.
Well, you know what? His hand was resting on his hip, and then Kobe was twisting, and it appeared as though he spun him around. Maybe he did. Minnesota with Serbiak, Hudson, Garnett, Jackson, and Gill. Serbiak, a quiet night. Good fake, and George Pitt. Rebound by Shaq, and a foul inside the lane. And Shaq has just been hit with his 4th personal foul of the game.
That's big right there.
It is big. And 4:13 remains in the 3rd quarter.
Well, and the significance of it was the 2 early ones that they got. Get him in foul trouble early, make him cautious late in the game, because that's when he usually dominates.
It's Garnett double. He's in a straight jacket. Garnett inside.
Well, and that's the cautiousness that you're talking about. As a result of being aggressive early, now Garnett goes to the basket because they know Shaq has 4 fouls.
I'm surprised they're not taking Shaq out of the game with this lead.
Robert Horry, rebound by Jackson, double team, knocked away by George, who picks up a Laker foul. And Devin George with his first foul of the game.
Well, good job right there. They're just fighting for it. Shaq gives him a little shove. Kevin is light as tissue paper in the upper body, but right there, Garnett's going right back at Shaq, seeing if he's going to challenge with 4 fouls. Good move by Garnett.
And this is the reason why you want to try to attack Shaquille O'Neal early in the ball game, so that he permits you to play late in the game. He can't be as aggressive. When Garnett went to the basket, Shaq just sort of matador defense a little bit and let him go by.
Shaq has 4 fouls. That is a Laker high. Mishraovich has 4 fouls for Minnesota. That is a Timberwolves high. And here comes one of the nice stories of these playoffs for Minnesota, Mark Jackson. 6 points in 9 minutes off the bench. Down with 4 to play. Minnesota from the free throw line, 11 of 14. Los Angeles, 13 of 20.
And the danger of Jackson being in the game right now is he's so physical with Shaq that you would hope that Shaq doesn't retaliate and pick up another foul.
Staying in that zone, John.
Which is good. Just for the sake of change is good sometimes. It disrupts the tempo of the Lakers.
Gill almost got Fisher for 3. Derek Fisher has been an assassin tonight.
That is huge. I mean, they have nothing going on. Their offense, they're just stagnant. Shaq's just staying on one side of the block. Fisher just completely single-handedly bailed him out again.
Fisher's got 22. Jackson with the miss. Rebound by Devin George. And here comes Los Angeles. They're shooting 46%. They get 57% for the game for LA.
That zone is really collapsing back on Shaq, though. They understand that Kobe's really hurting them with passes inside.
Out of bounds and off Minnesota. Shot clock at 7. Shot clock at 7.
You know, we see the Lakers, they're just not getting anything. There's not any much movement. Robert Horry cuts, but there's nothing there. A tough pass. Fisher does a great job just to go catch the ball and then shoots the 3 over pressure with no time on the clock. Beautiful play.
He had a horseshoe in his pocket on that one, too, I think, Danny.
It's been lucky for him all night.
Oh, my goodness.
2:48 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Derek Fisher, with his 19 3-point field goals made this series, he is the playoff leader.
We did all the work, so you get to have all the fun. Presenting the Aqua Tracks from Honda, the only all 4-stroke lineup of personal watercraft in the world, including the brand new turbocharged 2-seater, the R12X. Advanced 4-stroke technology means high performance and low pollution, so the water stays cleaner, man. And so does the air. It's just what you'd expect from Honda. Pure performance. To find a dealer near you, visit honda.com.
Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. Just dial right down the center, 1-800-CALLATT.
It's free for you and cheap for them.
Don't touch that.
Save on every call. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Flavor. Ernie Johnson at Studio A in Atlanta. Here's the update on the Celtics and the Pacers. 1-point game. Paul Pierce has not had a great night so far, but that gives him 14 points. And they maintain the lead over Indiana. It's 82-79. Kevin.
All righty, Jay, thank you very much. Celtics and Pacers, you can see the Magic with a 2-game advantage on the Pistons. Same for the Sixers over New Orleans. The Nets on top of Milwaukee by 1. Rick Fox injured Sunday, but the RF-17, that's his number and those his initials. And you can see that Derek Fisher is remembering his teammate who is out for the rest of the playoffs, a torn tendon in his left foot. There's the supporting walking cast that he has.
Devin George has done a good job. He's had a Fox type of game. Not a lot of shots, keeping him involved in the offense, swinging the ball, and doing a good job on Serbia.
Gary Trent coming in for the Timberwolves. Here's Shaw to Ori to Bryant out there with Shaq and Fisher as well. Kobe wheeling down the lane. And Kobe Bryant catching fire in this third quarter. He's got 19 in 32 minutes after a scoreless second quarter.
And a beautiful play coming out of the timeout against the zone defense. Good job by Phil Jackson.
Nice corkscrew move by Kevin Garnett.
Very aggressive, hitting towards Shaq. Still conscious of the fact that Shaq has foul problems.
Well, I don't understand why Shaq is still in there, quite honestly, Coach. With this kind of lead, you think that they'd get him out and try to, just keep status quo until they can get Shaq back in.
Bryant with the pump fake in the drive. Kobe Bryant.
But those lanes aren't open when Shaq's out of the game, so Shaq just has to be careful. And Phil knows. I mean, Shaq has not been in foul trouble or foul out of very many games.
Missed by Garnett, picked up by Jackson, back to KG as he goes right by Kobe Bryant. Garnett's got a Minnesota high 22 points. He is 10 of 20 from the field. And the Lakers have 4 in double figures, 22 from both O'Neal and Fisher, 21 from Bryant, and 12 from Robert Ory. Shaq punches one in, but that will not count. The foul was assessed inside, and it goes on Jackson, who's got his second.
And Shaq and Jackson are saying sweet nothings to each other. I love it.
You don't want to wake up Shaq. I mean,
you don't want to hear what they say and leave it to each other.
Shaq will leave, and Mark Manson will come in.
You're absolutely right. Leave him alone. That's what I like about Jackson, though. He touches him, he pushes, he does a lot of things to irritate Shaquille.
That's it from Kobe. Ory, nice fade. Everyone hit it. But Ory can't get it from point-blank range.
That's why Shaq has been in the game.
Hudson. Deftly moves inside. Jackson.
That's also why Shaq has been in the game. Because now they feel like it's a freeway in there. Even if he's not blocking shots, he's conscious of his presence.
Sudden, where the Laker offense going to come from? Kobe is the guy to try to create some offense for him.
It's going to come from Mark Manson, who gives out to Kobe Bryant. Gill defending. Kobe Bryant has put in 14 in the third quarter and a game-high 23 for Los Angeles.
How sweet is he?
You know what? And it all started with the dunk. I don't know how many times we said you get a dunk or you get an easy basket, and all of a sudden the basket expands.
Garnett trying to do the same thing, but he throws it away. And here he goes again. Flight 8 is cleared for takeoff. Kobe Bryant, a spectacular 16-point third quarter tonight.
And none of the Timberwolves were fouling him. That's what I meant earlier when I said the Lakers should test them and run.
Bryant gets the steal, and then he answers at the other end.
Look, nobody's running him down. He's kind of trotting back down the court. I don't like the body language. I haven't liked it all this whole second half.
Right. There has been none. None at all. Oh, I'm sorry. Flip has more body language than the whole T-Wolves team right now.
And this is what I was talking about before the series started. I mean, they've played fantastic basketball, but the Lakers have had 2 fantastic games. Game 1 and now Game 5. And if this Laker team shows up to play, they're going to win the series. But we keep wondering, during the regular season, they didn't show up to play until January.
See, and that's the luxury of having 2 talented players of exceptional ability like Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe. So much attention has to be given to them that then you start getting the Fishers, the Ories, and guys like that who are at any given time able to explode.
Jackson picks up his 3rd foul for Minnesota. You see Shaq and Robert Ory taking a breather. Samaki Walker has come in for Los Angeles. Rod Strickland has come in for the Timberwolves with about a half minute to play in this third quarter. Lakers have led by John as many as 21. Minnesota has had a couple leads of 2.
And the beautiful thing about how Kobe has played tonight is that he started this game making nothing but plays with passes. Now when they're covering those receivers, he's going through and annihilating them himself.
Look at that 68% third quarter shooting for Los Angeles.
Well, what about Fisher? He's got 24 points and he's only taken 9 shots. I mean, he's completely outplayed Hudson. And he's held Hudson 5 for 15 shooting.
Third quarter winding down. Ron Strickland puts up a floater. It's bobbled around inside, caught by Shaw. He'll try to beat the buzzer and launching. Good if it goes. But the Lakers open up the game in buzzsaw. Minnesota in the third. Kobe Bryant goes 6 of 7 in that third quarter after not even taking a field goal attempt in the second. His 25 is a game high, and the 3-time defending champion Lakers on top at the end of 3, 94-73.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's a classroom where the know-how is free and the homework is fun. It's how to build something, or paint something, or plant something. A place that can take you from wondering how to knowing how. And the guaranteed low price every day to make every dollar work. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Michelin designed the cross-terrain SUV tires specifically for SUVs to help provide responsive handling and a smooth ride. You'd be surprised just how smooth. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Why would you want another credit card? Well, what if it supported your school, reflected your interests, gave you something back? Bank One gives you over 1,200 different cards to choose from, so you can choose the one that's right for you. Still carrying around someone else's credit card? Maybe it's time you got one of your own.
And counting. The 210 horsepower supercharged Nissan Xterra.
Give me a backpack.
This is a water-grabbing, sun-stealing, grass-killing machine. Okay, it's a dandelion, but it can wreck your lawn. Hi, I'm Ashton Ritchie with the Scotts Company. Wow, isn't this better? Scotts Turf Builder with +2 weed control is twice as effective as any other brand. Why? Scotts small particles stick to weeds better than larger ones. So Scotts works better. No wonder it's America's #1 weed and feed. Lose this and get this with Scotts Turf Builder +2.
Capitals in St. Paul, and it was a busy night here in the Twin Cities as you watch the NBA playoffs on TNT. Lakers on top by 21 points. At a sports bar nearby, you had a chance to watch the Minnesota Wild, the Los Angeles Lakers with the Timberwolves, or the Minnesota Twins. Yeah, there's a lot to watch. A lot of choices here in Minneapolis with Danny Ainge, John Thompson, and Craig Sager. Kevin Harlan. We start the fourth quarter. Wally Sylvia got it knocked away out of his cock-right shooting hand by Brian Shaw. And here comes the red-hot Kobe Bryant He's out there with Shaw, Samaki Walker, Fisher, and Mark Madsen for Los Angeles. A 3 by Fisher. That bounces over the backboard and out of bounds. Minnesota with Serbiak, Garnett, Nesterovic, Rod Strickland, and Anthony Peeler. How about no turnovers by the Lakers in the last 21 minutes? Pretty impressive.
Well, that tells you a little bit about Minnesota's defense.
Absolutely, Danny, because the thing that they've been thriving on is pressuring them and causing turnovers. The other thing that's very significant is Serbiak hasn't taken but 5 shots, maybe 6 by now. He's got to get into the flow. He's got to get some help. Somebody should have gotten him involved by now.
Strickland off to Anthony Peeler. He's had a cold shooting series, but he knocks in a 2-point shot right there. And Anthony Peeler scores for the first time tonight. He is 1 of 5.
Well, there's still time. They got to pressure the ball. They got to get some turnovers. I like the zone, maybe forcing him to shoot the ball from the outside with this lineup of Madsen and Walker. You really don't even have to defend the paint and force the Lakers to shoot outside so you can get some long shots, coach, and get in the open court.
And I don't like the fact that if a guy is one of my best shooters, as Serbiak is, that he only had 5 attempts. I'd rather him have a hell of a lot more attempts and misses than him not even having attempts.
Rod Strickland working the other way and trying to push that ball down in a hurry for the Timberwolves, who have no time to spare. Counted for 2. Nesterovic gets the basket and a foul. Nesterovic with his best game in the playoffs so far with 13 points in the middle for Minnesota.
Well, and Phil's going to go back to Shaq simply because the offense is stagnant. Kobe took a bad shot right there, just held the ball at the top of the key. You know, Kobe's played a fantastic game, coach. He was so patient. Nothing was going for him offensively. They were moving the ball side to side. He was penetrating and kicking, and then all of a sudden his offense kind of came as a result of his aggressive play of finding other people.
And they were getting things so easily, Danny. You have to be so careful if you were getting things as easily as the Lakers were that you don't become lackadaisical and then become very careless.
Shaq and Devin George check back in for Madsen and Kobe Bryant.
Phil would have loved to have Shaq sit for a few more minutes anyway, maybe for the rest of the game, but just because of their ineptitude at the offensive end without Shaq on the court.
With Shaquille O'Neal across the lane. Rebound by Kevin Garnett. Inhales it. He's got 12 rebounds and 22 points. And here comes Strickland by Fisher launching a 2. Rebound by Samaki Walker. Brian Shaw. Shaw finds an open lane. Rebound Walker around Garnett and cuts it.
Well, you can't. You just can't come back by giving second chance baskets. You defend the possession very well. They throw up a shot that they cannot make, and you let them get it and put it back.
And that was a great play by Samaki Walker. Excellent hustle play, getting inside and scoring the ball, finish it over Garnett.
Disturbance wish Shaquille had stayed on the bench a little longer, too.
Shaq has momentum inside. The foul. He was triple teamed, but he caught it as he was moving toward the rack. Nesterovic was defending, and he picks up his 5th foul. And Shaq will be at the line where tonight he is 4 of 6 with his 22 points and 8 rebounds. Lakers have led by 21. Playoff schedule coming up tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern time, a tripleheader of Game 5s. Hornets and 76ers, Blazers at Dallas, Utah at Sacramento, and on NBA TV with high definition. It's Game 5, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Tracy McGrady in Orlando at Detroit against the Pistons.
T-Wolves played a lot better, Kevin, when no one thought that they were able to win. Once the series got tied, there was some hope there, and pressure entered into it a little bit differently for them than when they were in the situation of starting this thing.
Hargo is in now for Los Angeles, back to a 21-point lead after Shaq hits the 2 free throws. Strickland.
Well, the thing that Minnesota has going for them is after this great performance, and there's still time left in this game, by the way, especially if they get hot, but they need Peeler and Serbiak, Troy Hudson and Garnett. They all have to get really hot right now.
In particular, Garnett, I think. I mean, he's got to get involved in this thing really aggressively now.
Serbiak was uncovered, yet Garnett took the shot while he was doubled inside the lane.
He forced that, and you can tell he almost fouled Shaq out of frustration. But, you know, when a team plays like this, when the Lakers come out and they shoot 55% against you and everybody gets involved in the offense, it's just demoralizing. But one thing about the Lakers is they don't like to do it the hard way, Coach. They don't want to come out in Game 6 and play this hard again. They want to try to cruise to that. So that's Minnesota. What they have going for them is the Lakers might just let up a little bit after a game like this.
Garnett, Peeler, Serbiak open for 3. This is one of the top 10 3-point shooters in the NBA as Serbiak nails it. That is only his 3rd 3-point basket of the series.
And I think they just forgot about it with a 20-point lead. He's not getting any looks like that in this game.
Here comes Serbiak again. And Peeler, he's open for 3 by Devin Jordan. Peeler just has not found his shot these entire playoffs.
Well, maybe Serbiak should have put the ball back in Strickland's hand once he saw he didn't have it so that he could get the shot on the second pass.
Pongo had it knocked away and out of bounds on Garnett. We are late in Game 5, a big one for the Lakers who lead by 18. Game 6 comes your way Thursday.
Disavow any knowledge of your existence. You are no longer Sam Fisher, agent of the U.S. government. You are a Splinter Cell.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Now redefined to push your PlayStation 2 to the limits with exclusive new levels and features.
More drama, more attitude, more lethal than ever.
I give my right arm for a siren right now.
Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon 4. Friday night at 8, part of the Diet Coke Movie Fest on TNT.
Where did all the movies go? To Stars, where new hit movies hit home first.
I live for this!
Oh, yeah. Want to see XXX and all these new hit movies? Better call now and ask for Stars. 1-800-DIRECT-TV. Because the only premium channel you'll see these movies on is Stars. One of 12 distinct channels in the Stars Super Pack. Call now to get over 600 different movies for only $12 or less a month on DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
4 people are dead.
Not from watching a video.
If fear has a shape.
Before you die, you see the ring.
If madness has a home.
Before you die, you see the ring. He's showing you the horses. You saw it.
If evil has a soul.
Everyone will suffer.
It is inside
the ring.
Order it now on Blockbuster Pay-Per-View Movies.
Ernie Johnson in Studio A in Atlanta. It certainly appears that the LA Lakers are on their way to a 3-2 advantage in that best of 7. We'll be taking you back to the Target Center in just a moment, but first we want to go to Conseco Fieldhouse. Celtics trying to put away the Pacers. They lead the series 3-1, game tied with 23 left. Kevin Calabro and Steve Jones have the call.
Well, we welcome the viewing audience on TNT tonight to Indianapolis, Indiana, Conseco Fieldhouse, where the Boston Celtics hold a 3-1 edge on the Indiana Pacers in this playoff series. And the Pacers, playing for their playoff lives, have tied this game at 88-88 after trailing by 9 coming into the fourth quarter of play. The Boston Celtics, after a scramble for a loose ball in the corner, won by Paul Pierce and subsequently calling a timeout, now have it in front court. Along with Steve Jones, Andre Aldridge, I'm Kevin Calabro. Steve set it up as the Celtics bring it inbound.
Well, the Celtics want to hold for the last shot. Indiana has a foul to give, but this is Boston's game to win or to go into overtime. Let's see how they handle it. Coming back to Pierce, they want to use all of the time.
Pierce had just 3 points in the first half, but here in the fourth quarter, he's got a nice groove going, and a foul to give, used by Artest with 12 and 3/10 seconds left. So Boston will bring it back inbounds.
I don't know if you use it now. I mean, now you got nothing to give, and they got too much time. I mean, if you're going to give a foul when the guy goes on the move, as Artest is trying to bully Pierce out of position. They can't let him get an off-the-ball foul and shoot 2 free throws. Pierce back with the ball.
He's averaged 28 points in the series against Indiana. Tonight held to 16 points. 6 seconds left. Covered by Artest. 3 seconds left. Pierce for the win. Driving into the lane to the glass. Ripped as he went airborne. Buzzer sounds. No time remaining. The officials indicate overtime. Score tied at 88 here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
He had a lane, but he could not get the ball up. He thought he was going to get a call, but Boston played it the way you're supposed to play it. You've got the final possession. You want to make sure the opponent does not get a shot. Pierce has the lane right here. He's coming in, and O'Neal comes over, and from the rear, Artest slapped it away. Boy, it's better to be lucky than good sometimes, and this is some good fortune for Indiana. That ball put right in that swipe, and we'll go for an extra 5.
The Pacers, with sensational shooting in the fourth quarter, hit 11 of 15 in the fourth period and held Boston to 7 of 23. Lester Connor, the assistant on the Boston bench, wondering where the call is, but Artest clearly had all ball. Artest is on a very troubled.
And so they head to OT at Conseco with the Indiana Pacers trying to stay alive in that series, down 3-1 to the Celtics. By the way, Tim Hardaway, 13 points tonight for the Indiana Pacers. They are tied with the Celtics, back to target.
George just nailed a 3-point shot for the Los Angeles Lakers, who have every starter in double figures, led by the 27 of Kobe Bryant, 24 apiece, Shaq and Fisher. Lakers shooting 53% from the floor, Minnesota 43%, 23 for Kevin Garnett.
And they're shooting 49 for the whole series, and the Lakers defense has done a good job. Troy Hudson, he hasn't been able to score here in the second half. But you know, 97 points for the starters of the Lakers. They're playing extended minutes. They didn't get any rest. Kobe and Shaq in game 4 at all.
Lakers are going to go home up 3 games to 2 with game 6 Thursday on TNT.
You're the new lead detective.
Me? Martin Lawrence. Luke Wilson. Blue Streak. Friday at 10:30. Part of the Diet Coke Movie Fest on TNT.
Are you a real fan? Want to go to the playoffs? Who's going to win it all? Looking for some playoff gear? Having fun yet? Need a score? Want the inside scoop? Then log on to NBA.com and be a part of the 2003 NBA playoffs. For polls and chats, log on to NBA.com or America Online keyword NBA.com.
NBA.com, right?
Experience the NBA online. NBA.com.
Change the way you move through the world. The V6 Nissan Altima.
You know I like you, and I like you a lot. I like Janice a lot, too, and I know she's your roommate.
Janice?
I'm not sure how to say this to you. You know that I like you a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's just that I like Janice a lot, too, and I know she's your roommate, and I wouldn't...
So date both of us.
What? What did you say?
There is a typical guy who enjoys Budweiser's presentation of Danny Ainge's. Caught my eye.
Thanks, Kevin. You will never again boycott my eye. Jake Bosco's game winner was great, but they can't win without a healthy Stephon Marbury. Congrats to Pop as Coach of the Year. He doesn't care. He's worried about finishing games and making free throws. Iverson gets the headline. Kenny Thomas gets the dirty work done for Philly. The Kings are playing late night right now, but looking like they're headed for prime time. And finally, Malik Rose always said he could do more than hustle. 27 points off the bench for the Spurs.
Well, the Timberwolves in all likelihood will face an elimination game on Thursday on TNT. You see Mavericks trying to close out Portland. The Kings trying to do the same thing with Utah. And the Spurs win tonight and now lead that series with Phoenix 3-2. That's a look at the West. Here's Shaq at the free throw line with 24 points. And notching number 25 right there.
I just don't think that they have a chance. We see Garnett and Hudson's numbers right there, and they're way down, both of them. The Lakers defense has really picked up in this game. And Minnesota has not played with anywhere near the same passion that they played in the first 4 games.
Which is absolutely amazing, really, because they're here. This crowd was all fired up before the game even started. Players even came out and were working out. But definitely they haven't been able to generate the kind of enthusiasm they had before.
And here they come, Shaq and Kobe at the other end. You talk about Troy Hudson, no field goal since the 5-minute mark in the second quarter. That was unheard of for him in this series.
And Kevin, if the T-Wolves didn't have to inbound the ball down the other end, they wouldn't have had anybody cross the half-court line to chase that guy, and that's just unnecessary.
Look how lifeless they are right now. I mean, I know they got a gigantic mountain to climb down by 25, but nonetheless, what you might do now is going to be a good lead-in for Thursday night when you might be eliminated as Kobe nails a 3.
That'll wrap it up. I guess about 5 minutes ago that wrapped it up. But you know, hey, San Antonio and the Suns, that's been a great series. But the Suns, you know, Stephon Marbury, what a spectacular year he's had against San Antonio. But he really has that chicken wing and that stinger in his shooting arm. They have no chance of beating the Suns if they don't have a healthy
stinger.
A stinger. That's what you called it the other night.
Oh, my goodness. Was that unbelievable or not? Stingers.
He hit his funny bone or something. No, but I mean, it's serious because his shot has been way off ever since that incident.
It's Shaquille O'Neal trying to put one up. And volleyballed around. Vacuumed in by Kobe Bryant. And Bryant with the game-high 32. It is a heartbreaking night for what the Timberwolves build as the biggest night in the history of their franchise. A chance to go up 3-2 on the defending champions. Now the odds are stacked against Minnesota, and the Lakers will be smelling blood Thursday in Los Angeles as they will lead this series 3-2.
I'm an artist and a sculptor. I think fire can be used as a tool to create beautiful things. To me, nothing tastes better than food cooked over an open fire. I like a big, juicy burger. A sourdough bacon cheeseburger? That's hot.
The sourdough bacon cheeseburger is back at Burger King. A quarter-pound of beef cooked over an open fire with crisp bacon, melted Swiss cheese, the works, all on buttery toasted sourdough. It's back for a limited time only, so try one today.
They say you can't put a price on peace of mind. But for a very limited time, we beg to differ. Because now you can get an ADT system installed for only $99. But you have to act fast. This offer ends May 23rd. Never again will so much protection be so affordable. ADT helps keep more people safe in more ways than any other security company. And a single ADT system can help protect your home and family from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide. You'll be connected to our customer monitoring center, where ADT professionals are watching out for you around the clock. So when an alarm is triggered, we can call for help right away. Call now. This is your last chance to get an ADT system installed for just $99. You could even save up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. But hurry, offer ends May 23rd. There's never been a better time to take advantage of ADT. ADT, always there.
Playoff basketball, it's different than the regular season.
Over 40 games in 40 nights. TNT, exclusive home of the NBA Western Conference Finals. Win or go home. The drama of the NBA playoffs continues on TNT.
TNT. Spectacular finishes tonight, presented by Armor All Wipes.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. Timeout, Utah.
When the game's in hand, Ernie Johnson, you got players reading comics on the sideline. Shaquille O'Neal, they tell you he's a big kid, showing it right now. Lakers on top, 111-81. Let's send it to you in Atlanta.
Thanks, Kev. Doesn't get any better than Bazooka Joe or Mort with that sweater pulled up over his face. Meantime, nearly 3 minutes gone by in overtime at Conseco Fieldhouse, and nobody has scored. Celtics and Pacers tied up at 88, which is how it stood at the end of regulation. Indiana fighting for their playoff lives. The Celtics with a 3-1 lead in this series, and as we showed you in our bonus coverage earlier, Paul Pierce had a chance with the ball in his hands and the clock winding down to win it for Boston. Could not get a shot off, so they're in OT. We turn it back over to Kevin Calabro and Steve Jones.
We welcome our TNT audience back. Nothing new to report here. Score still tied at 88 all. Neither team has scored in just under 3 minutes of play here in the overtime. The Pacers are 0 for 8. Boston 0 for 2 in the overtime thus far.
We have seen some terrific individual defensive saves in terms of taking the ball away, missing opportunities, but keeping their teams in the ball game here in the overtime. Boston has the ball. It's up to them right now to come up with a play that will get them a good shot. They've only had a couple here in the overtime.
Paul Pierce held to 3 points in the first half. Seemed to find a rhythm in the fourth quarter. He's 5 for 20, however, in this game with 16 points. The hot hand has been Antoine Walker, 10 of 23 with 21. Tony Delk has 19 points. 10 shots pitched up by the two clubs and no score yet. Score tied at 88. The Pacers this year 6-2 in overtime, and Boston 3-2 for what that's worth.
Well, they have been isolating Pierce and allowing him to go one-on-one. Look for Antoine Walker to get his hands on the ball out of this timeout.
Williams will bring it in bounds with McCarty, Walker, Pierce, and Delk stacked at the top. Delk will get it in bounds. Walker opens up on the left side with Harrington. Dribbles baseline, ripped by Harrington, got into the air, and a foul called by Derek Stafford on the baseline. And this will send Antoine Walker to the free throw line with a chance to break the stalemate.
What Walker is very good at is using his quickness, comes across the lane. Al Harrington reeks. That's what got him in trouble, and Harrington would have lived with the foul, but not the opportunity for Antoine Walker to go to the line.
Walker coming into tonight's play was just 3 of 8, only 8 attempts from the free throw line in the previous 4 games, and he misses this one with a chance to give his ball club the lead. It's his first free throw attempt of this game.
Miller back in the ball game and replacing Al Harrington, but that free throw, that was shot out of a cannon. Those are the kind you get early in the ball game, not late in the game.
Let's see if Walker can put a little more feel on this one. He didn't. He rammed it off the front rim, and O'Neal with his 21st rebound. That's a career playoff high. Pacer fans on their feet with 1:50 to go in this ball game. Neither team has scored in the overtime. O'Neal in deep. High banker, that wouldn't go. And McCarty with a rebound. 1:37 left in OT, and neither team has scored.
Again, Walker with the ball, gonna make the play, got a mismatch with Reggie Miller.
He's got 25 pounds on Walker, nearly juggled it, saves it to Williams. He leans back, a circus shot is short. Artest had the rebound, flipped by Williams, and a foul called. Loose ball foul on Williams. Williams with his 5th personal foul, but the Celtics, with their first in the last 2 minutes, and both teams now at the limit.
Well, would it leave you one at the free throw line because nobody can make a shot?
Sure seems that way.
Well, the crowd is chanting Reggie. Let's see if Miller can respond. He had not even been close on his shot as they looked at Jermaine O'Neal. Got him sealed.
Hardaway picks up the dribble. Now cross court to Artest. He's been good at slashing. He drives in and he draws the foul. Ooh, and he nearly takes Derek Stanford out of the play. So Artest now will shoot 2.
Well, Artest has been a guy that has made his own way in this ball game, and in the fourth quarter was a huge factor, spinning and just using his strength to get it done, and then headlong into Derek Stanford. He really should have played football. He would have been a great football player.
Artest coming out of Queensbridge, New York City. Suspended for 12 games this year.
Artest is a player that constantly talks about pressure and the pressure of just surviving, and he has a chance to give his team a chance to survive at the line.
Boston in its storied history has led 3 games to 1 20 times. 20 times in the club's history, and they are 20-0. That's what the Pacers are playing against tonight. The Pacers in their playoff series lives after losing the first game are 0-12. Pacers down 3 games to 1. We're down 2 at half, down 9 at the end of 3, but came back to tie this game, get it into overtime. Neither team has scored in the overtime or scored at 88. Artest to break the tie, he did, hitting the second free throw. He splits a pair, and the Pacers now have a lead of 1 with 1:04 remaining. Where are the Celtics going, Steve?
They're coming back to Pierce, and with no fouls to give for the Indiana Pacers, they can't afford this mismatch to stay. Pierce against Jermaine O'Neal, 5 on the clock.
4 to shoot, driving in is Pierce. 2 to shoot, out of the corner McCarty. The 3 is short, rebound to Tim Hardaway. Hardaway's going to hold up, bring it across, and call a timeout. Crowd on their feet here at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. One of the finest venues for basketball in maybe the world. Finest I've ever seen.
Wow, you're from Butler University.
So we will not leave you hanging on this overtime game, 89-88 with 37.7 to play. We will take a break. Come back with more. The NBA on TNT.
You can be fast, or you can be strong. Or you can find a way to be both. What's my thirst? Doing whatever it takes.
It's about that time.
What's yours?
It's about that time.
More drama, more attitude, more lethal than ever.
I give my right arm for a siren right now.
Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon 4. Friday night at 8, part of the Diet Coke Movie Fest on TNT.
Of their first 14 shots of the fourth quarter. That got them back into it. Mercer started it with a couple of mid-range jump shots. It's something that was sorely missing from Indiana's offense tonight. It was O'Neal that carried them with 17 of their 48 in the first half. But they started to find the perimeter jump shots here in the second half.
Tim Hardaway was that hero in that fourth quarter. He had 8 points, 8 big points. Pacers have the ball right here. And Miller is in, but he has not been able to do anything. I'm looking probably for this ball to go in the hands of Artest and let him make a play and see if Jermaine O'Neal can crash the board. 13 shots.
Boston 0 for 4 and Indiana 0 for 9 from the field. It's been an Artest free throw that's been the difference, 89-88. Hardaway.
Ball to O'Neal, they got it.
And he's got a 10-footer up and in. So Jermaine O'Neal with his first bucket since the first half puts Indiana on top by 3. 19 to shoot, 25 seconds left in the game. And it's Pierce with a step back. Air ball grabbed by O'Neal.
The Celtics should foul, but they're playing it straight up.
Artest in front court, and there is Walker to foul Ron Artest, giving the Pacers an opportunity now for 2 free throws with a 3-point lead and 12 seconds even remaining in the ballgame.
O'Brien is over there, head down, thinking about the opportunities missed, but Jermaine O'Neal has not had many chances. Miller gave him a really good pass. He was able to catch it on the move and drop it. Artest at the line.
You have to wonder a little bit about Pierce's selection of that shot. Down 3, trying with a man in his face to hit a step back 3. I wonder if Jim O'Brien's thinking the same thing. You can get a bucket, maybe foul then. Down 1.
You don't doubt your fourth quarter go-ahead player. I mean, he took what he thought was going to be a shot that would give them a chance to win the game by tying it up.
Artest hits both free throws, and the Pacers now lead it by 5 with 12 seconds left in the overtime. The Celtics have not scored in overtime.
No. And they've got 12 seconds to tie it up. So what they've got to do is take the first score. They've got to get a quick hitting play. If they shoot a 3 and they miss, this game is over because they're going to have to foul. The lead climbs again. So they've got to take the first score. It's got to be a quick hitting play. Then they've got to turn around, try to get a steal. If they don't get the steal, foul, stop the clock, and take their chances with the Pacers at the free throw line.
Steve, if you look at an MVP tonight, is your vote Tim Hardaway?
Yeah, unquestionably. I mean, Hardaway gave them something that they didn't expect. You know, he hadn't been playing, and they weren't sure what he was going to do. Came in the ball game, gave him 5 points in the first half, gave him a little bit of lift there to keep him in the game, and then in the fourth gave him the huge 8 points to get them in the ball game. And so that's a big, big difference for them, and they have a chance to win, go to Boston to live another day.
Well, with all these analysts that are coming out of retirement, coming back out on the floor, being an impact, it's only a matter of time, Snap, before you're back with the red, white, and blue ball.
We'll never turn back the clock that far.
Artest tonight, 26 points, 10 of 11 from the line. Very solid defense on Paul Pierce, and he had 9 rebounds.
Big game for Artest because he matched Pierce in the fourth quarter. Pierce had 8, he had 10. So he was able to get some offense going, keep him in the game. Now it's up to Boston to come up with a quick hitting play. You know, and they haven't made a field goal, haven't had a lot of chances. Only 4 field goals in the quarter. Foster pressuring the ball.
And McCarty to get it in bounds.
Now what you don't want is a dead ball foul as Artest is trying to deny Pierce the ball.
McCarty will get it to Petit. He'll turn and fire it up. The 3-pointer's off. Rebound Ron Artest. He'll dribble up the floor. Boston can't track him down. 3 seconds left. 2-1. Game over here in Indiana. The Pacers win here tonight in overtime, defeating the Boston Celtics 93-88. And the Celtics did not score a point in overtime. Game 6 will head to Boston, Massachusetts, with the Celtics trailing now 3 games to 2 edge.
You exploded in the third quarter. First of all, I have to ask you how your right shoulder is. I know you already have it iced.
It's doing okay right now. It just goes dead on me for about 30 seconds sometimes.
What about that third quarter? What were you trying to do?
Well, I mean, the first half, I just wanted to be patient and set up my opportunities for later in the game. You know, there was no point in me forcing the issue. You know, my teammates were doing very well. Everybody was hitting shots. So it was just important for me to be patient. I saw some gaps, you know, but I just needed to take advantage of them when the time was right.
When Derek Fisher starts out like you did with a couple of threes, does that make your job easier?
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they have to honor him. They have to play him. And, you know, he usually gets us going. So he's hitting those corner threes that, you know, it makes them extend their defense.
Before the series, you guys said you wanted to take Wally Szczerbiak out of the series. What have you done, particularly tonight?
Just played him. Just stayed in front of him. Pretty much it. I mean, Rick Fox did an excellent job when he was in there. Devin George did an excellent job tonight, and that's pretty much it.
A terrific night for you tonight. Obviously the win, but also named to the U.S. Olympic team. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot. You know, I can't wait to get out there this summer and enjoying the great players. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a beautiful feeling representing this country.
In our studio tonight is Dominique Wilkins, obviously the human highlight film. He was commenting and also admiring some of your moves here tonight.
Well, you know, I learned a lot by watching Dominique Wilkins. So that was you know, a junior, human highlight reel tomahawk. I can't quite do it like Dominique, but I can try.
First game you guys blew out Minnesota. Looked like the series might be easy, but they came back strong. What did you learn from that game that will help you close it out in 6?
Well, I mean, we just take this game, pile in with the rest. Seemed like they backed off their pressure tonight. We really collapsed their defense. The next game, it'll be interesting to see if they pick up the pressure again.
All right, thanks a lot. Now let's go back to the studio and Ernie Johnson.